You filmed yourself, you got some B-roll, you even did some screen recordings of some software demonstrations and showing some slides. It's now time to edit it together into a video. Since there are a few video editing applications, let's just talk generally what needs to be done. First thing you want to do is start a new project in your video editing application at a set frame rate. For me, this is 24 frames per second, and at a set frame aspect. For me, this is 16:9. Then you can drag in all of your main footage onto the first video track layer. This could be your footage from your camera or from a screen recording. If you recorded the audio separately, then line it up with the audio from the video and then mute the video audio. You may then need to put on some headphones and clean up your audio. Some video editing applications have a sound panel for this, otherwise you may need to use an audio specific application. Some applications can do a lot of the audio analysis for you, so you can just identify the audio as dialogue and leave the options as auto to get the job done. There are a few options you may want to look at though. The loudness, to make sure your voice is loud enough without clipping in the red. Noise reduction, to get rid of any of the background noise. This is why you want to record a few seconds of background noise with no talking so it can be sampled. EQ, to get the right volumes on particular tones, and you may even want to tweak the clarity to improve this a little. Don't go overboard though with any of these settings, otherwise your voice will start to sound synthetic. Then you can move on to cutting up your footage to only keep what you need. This is where you cut out all of your bloopers. Just take the play bar up to the point where you want to cut, and then do the same on the other end of the clip. You can then delete clips and move the clips around the timeline to suit. Once you have your main footage sorted, you can then add and cut up your B-roll to slot into the timeline. B-roll will come in handy to transition between your main footage cuts. You may find you want to use another video track layer at times, with whatever layer on top being the visible one. If you recorded any B-roll at a high frame rate, you'll note that this goes over a longer time frame than shot. This can then be used for slow motion, which you can then dial in the speed to suit. If you plan to add your voiceover to the footage after it has been cut, then you'll need to do this. For some editing applications, it's as easy as clicking the mic button and record from the attached mic. Just make sure you still clean up your audio. To make the transition smooth across the cuts, you can then add transitions. A crossfade transition, which basically fades one clip into the other, can work well for this. Once all of your video and audio is lined up sweet, then you may like to do some color grading to give a desired look. You can select from presets or tweak to your own personal taste. Don't forget though to apply this to all of the clips in the timeline for a consistent look. At this point, you'll have a video that will be good to go, but adding some overlays will make it better. Overlays work great for your intro and outro and for adding text at key points in the video. Many editing applications have default overlays to choose from, but just make sure you adjust to your branding colors. If you want custom overlays, there's a bit of a learning curve, so if you're not familiar with this, you may need to outsource or try a royalty-free option. As a nice final touch that you may like to add is a little bit of royalty-free music. This works particularly well for the intro and outro. You want to make sure you fade the music out or to a low level before the main footage though, to ensure the voice is still nice and clear. Before you publish, do a playthrough to check against the script to ensure you got everything. And then you can export the final video at the desired publishing quality setting, such as 1080p. Follow the same process for all of your modules, but for a consistent look and feel, you may choose to duplicate the project or save presets such as for colors and overlays. Once you're done, then you can archive your projects to consolidate only the footage you need into one location for easy backup and maintenance. As you can see, there's a few steps to editing, so you may need to do some application-specific training. You don't need to get in too deep though, as for the most part, you just need to make sure your audio is clean and that your main footage, B-roll and audio are all cut up and arranged to suit. To add some polish, you can add some color grading, transitions and overlays and some music.